Eagles. Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to the JAKIB Pregame Show as we prepare for a divisional round matchup, a snow game in the city of brotherly love. Eagles versus Rams. Philadelphia Eagles 14-3 on the year, 1-0 in the playoffs, obviously with a big win last week. The Rams 10-7 on the year, and they had a big win. And now we meet the Rams here in the divisional round. Big Sills, welcome into the show, my friend. How you feeling on this game day? A big day of football yesterday's got you feeling a little goofy. How you feeling on this game day Sunday, brother?
Man, this is for all the marbles, really, because the winner of this game hosts the NFC Championship game between the Rams and Eagles. I mean, just shows you, too, Zander, how important it was to win the NFC East, because if the Eagles do win this ball game today, I mean, the NFC East would have determined home field advantage when it came to the NFC title game. What an absolutely crushing loss last night for Detroit. And I was just telling Zander, that's the kind of loss that knocks your organization on its ass for a bit. Yeah. That you're going to have to pick yourself up and get back in the room there again, because that was an absolutely spectacular performance by Jalen Daniels yesterday. He was absolutely a star. He is the best quarterback, and it is not a debate in the NFC East. And he's doing this as a rookie. Zander, this organization, okay, my prediction of them winning the East fell short, but I'll tell you what it didn't. Yeah. It didn't when it came to the fact that I thought this team was going to be a good football team. They're not just a good team. They are a great team now, because here,
there's no doubt.
Okay, here's what's happening here with them now. Now, again, the Eagles are a spectacular roster, okay? That's a really good team. You've made it all the way to the NFC Championship game in 1 year. Look at what this meant by getting rid of Daniel Snyder. You get rid of a shitty owner. You put some structure in the building. You hire a good GM. You hire a qualified coach. You get great assistant coaches, and then you hit on your number one pick, second pick in the draft, Jalen Daniels. And, dude, this is a remedy for success over the next 5 years.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we'll get into that game a little bit. Crazy finish. But the only thing I'm taking from it is now the Eagles control their destiny. You beat an inferior, I believe, an inferior opponent today in the Rams. I'm not taking them lightly. I'm not saying don't go out there and you got to show up, obviously. But that ain't my job, everybody. It's not my job to go on the field and play the damn game. So I think you got an inferior opponent today. You can beat them up at home in a weather game. And by the way, I'll give you guys the weather report in just a second here. For those who are not in the city and aren't aware of what that is, I will give you that. And then you're going to have that. You're going to host a division rival potentially, Sills, in Philly. I viewed that game last night as a massive gift to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, for the weather report, let me give you guys this, because we're preparing for the game now, 1:30. We're about an hour and a half out from the game. This is the weather report, all right? So if you're down there right now, if you're in South Philly right now, very light snow to start right now. It's more of a snowy, rainy mix right now, a little bit of sleet. It's not too cold. You know, I was outside. It's not warm, but it's 36, 37 degrees, so it's not really sticking yet. By the time you get to 3 p.m., you're going to start to see some snow. 4 p.m., you're going to have steady snow. And then 5 to 6 p.m., which now you're talking about that second half, you should accumulate up to 2 inches or so of snow. So nothing crazy. I don't think we're going to have a 6-7 inch game here of snow, but you're going to get a couple of inches of snow here in the game, and we'll see what kind of impact that has, Big Sills. But nothing like a snow game in Philly for the divisional round, my brother.
And playing a dome team. I mean,
exactly.
Always add that into it, because dome teams outside in January and traveling 3,000 miles on a short work week. All of that's playing into this because they played on Monday night. I got to tell you, man, I mean, you said it. No excuses on Sunday here. Go play your game. Don't do anything stupid. Don't come out of your identity. Stay in that identity. And I don't see how they don't come out of this octagon with a win. I just don't, man. I mean, and the octagon being Lincoln Financial, it's a home field advantage. You've got everything in your hands right now, as you said, when it comes to the home field. Make no mistake about it, man. No mistake about it. This is everything in front of you right now. And you get a chance to host the NFC Championship game at home with a division rival that you have a better roster than.
Yep, no doubt about it. And we'll talk more about that game. I want to thank everybody for being here today. A big game, everybody.
Huge game.
I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up. I'm feeling ready to go. It was a hell of a game last night. Thanks to everybody who checked in last night on the instant reaction video that we did. Don't forget to hit that like button. We'll talk to John McMullen coming up around 2 p.m. So about 20 or so minutes, we'll get John. He is down at Lincoln Financial Field, so he'll be able to give us the sights and sounds of the stadium, what's going on down there, what the weather is like. Is that snow sticking to the turf? We will talk to John about that. So looking forward to hearing from John McMullen for this game. Big Sales, let's get into the game a little bit. And I do want to talk to you, by the way, before we get John, just about that game last night that you saw, with the Commanders and the Lions. But let's just real quick run down what we got today. Well, the NFC goes through Philly, and the first step is stopping Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. Big Sales, what do you want to see from this Eagles defense? Number one defense in the NFL, missing Nakobe Dean today. What kind of impact could that have on the game? What do you want to see from this defense do today to try and get Stafford off his spot?
And remember, folks, all supers that you guys are throwing, we will read them. We always read them before we get out of here, so you guys know. Please keep sending them. Thank you very much, and hit that like button. What I want to see is you've got to stop the run. Don't let Matthew Stafford get play action going. If they get any kind of run game going and those stretch plays that I think they're going to run, McVay is going to have a completely different game plan. He's got to look at him, and I think what you have in the building there is a small advantage if you're the LA Rams. You got Sean Desai in the building, who fundamentally knows what their techniques are and what their responsibilities are per position. So if you're Sean McVay, you don't know what he's going to call. And yes, Vic is a better coordinator, but you kind of know the structure of what the Eagles are going to try to do defensively. You've played against them the last couple of years. You played against them this year. So you kind of have, it's almost, Zander, will we not agree? Look at how many times they played them in the last 3 years. It's almost like a small version of a divisional game because you've seen them so many times. Right. So you're going to get an understanding about what the Rams are going to do and also what the Eagles are going to do defensively. So you have to stop the run, in my opinion. I think also, too, if I were Vic, I might bring down Sidney Brown a little bit closer to the line, or Cooper DeJean down to the line. Make that zone in there a little more difficult for those tight ends and that running back, Williams, to get into that middle zone because you are missing Dean. You're missing Dean, and you're going to be going with second and third team guys who also have to share time on special teams. Is that going to be a hole in the defense in the middle of the zone there for Matthew Stafford to exploit? Keep an eye on that, in my opinion, too, and how Vic handles that and how he brings pressure, because getting Stafford, as you said, off his point and moving him left, right, that's going to be the essential if you're going to disrupt that passing game.
And I think the other big thing you mentioned there is stopping the run, and you have to do it without Nakobe Dean today. I think an underrated – I mean, we've all talked about Nakobe Dean and given him his props this year. I still think he's under the radar and flying a little bit underrated because of what obviously Zach Bond did next to him as a first-team all-pro level player. But no Nakobe Dean today, Sills. What do you expect to see from the replacements? It might be a combination of Oren Burks and Jeremiah Trotter. I was thinking Oren Burks. Oren Burks was announced as the starter on the run through today, whatever that is worth from the Lincoln Financial Field loudspeaker. But Vic Fangio spoke very highly of Jeremiah Trotter Jr. this week, said his time is coming, and that time might be right now. That's a tough, that's no small feat to replace that guy on that defense. I'm of the mentality, next man up. Go out there and make a play, do what you need to do. But how do you see this playing out for that Eagles defense?
Well, I want to see that because I don't think Trotter's ready to play that type of downs and that type of reps in this ball game. I don't care what Vic says. Vic says he's got a great future ahead of him, and it might be right now. That don't mean it is now. If he was that good, he'd been playing a little bit more in there as well. So to me, again, I think they got a hole there. Now, if these guys overachieve, and it's happened all year long, everywhere Vic puts people, they have gone in there and they have done a whale of a job. And even if you want to go on the offensive side, when you go to the O-line, you can make that argument. I would sit there. Where is your depth? Where is your strength that you have in numbers? Your strength in numbers are in your D-line. Do you go to some 5 front? Do you go to a 43 look and drop that safety down? Do you do some of those things to help? Because I'll tell you one thing that I'll start giving a little bit of kudos to. The Eagles finished 10th, I believe, in run stopping and rush defense this year. Okay, to me, 10th, 5th, I don't think there's any difference. I think it's the same thing. A top 10 defense against the run is an outstanding group. Those two guys in the middle also gave the benefit to those guys in Zach Bond and also in the Kobe Dean, and how well those guys were able to play and scrape the lane, going up and down the sidelines. Those two guys in front of them also played exceptionally well this year in allowing those linebackers to be free and make plays. Let's not forget the big guys up front, because that is a key part to this. In my opinion, the Oren Burkses and the Trotters is not the key to this game. It's going to be those two D tackles in front, because if they get blown off the ball and you start seeing some issues with Trotter and also with Burks, you're going to have lanes in there and you're going to have play action going. And that's where I think Stafford, remember what I said, underachieve, in my opinion, just to make it a fourth quarter football game and to get it into the fourth quarter. That's what they want to do, in my opinion. But those two D tackles, I think they're the key to this thing.
No doubt about it. I agree with you 100%. Let's go to this comment here. Big Rhythm checks in. What's up, Big Rhythm? Sil Zander, I'm at the link, and there's a billboard outside the link with the verse quote. Love this city. So they put the link up. I hate it, or the billboard up of Jared Verse saying, I hate Eagles fans. And now, so he's been trying to walk it back ever since he made. It's like somebody told this guy,
move on.
Up that city. Now he's trying to walk it back. I wish I used the word disliked instead of hate. Yo, Jared, fuck you, Jared Verse. Your time is up, Jared Verse.
Hey.
Welcome to the city of brotherly love, Jared Verse.
Hey, own that thing, man. You can't walk that
That's
shit.
what I'm saying. If you're going to say it, you might as well own it.
Hey, man. I mean, you know what? You could probably get away with that shit in L.A. You're not going to get away with that in Philly when you go like this to Philly fan. Hey, fuck you. That's not going to work, dude.
No, not happening. So they got that thing on a billboard by the tailgates just to remind everybody when they're walking in.
I think
Make sure
that's
you
brilliant.
give this guy hell today. So
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It's great. So real quick, I want to talk about that game last night just before we get John McMullen, and we'll dive obviously into this Eagles Rams game, the snow, the weather, everything that comes with the game. We just talked about stopping Stafford, replacing the Kobe Dean, and things of that nature. But I think there's a few other elements, a few other keys to this game that we will discuss. But I do want to talk to you about something that's interesting to me. All right. And you just watched another quarterback go down last week. And I'm asking for your objective analysis here. You know, Jared Goff, who's won with his arm all year long, goes down with how many four or five turnovers?
5 turnovers.
You watched Herbert, a guy who wins with his arm, go down, with the arm. You watched Sam Darnold, the guy who's won with his arm all year long. He throws, a bunch of picks and turnovers in the game, and now he's been eliminated from the postseason. I'm telling you, man, these dual threat quarterbacks, they present a different element late in the, at least it's as it seems to me, where you can't quantify it. Like Jaden Daniels, how many times last night did he make a play that wasn't a crazy play? It might have been a 4th and 2, and he skated, snuck outside to pick up the first down, but they just present something different to these defenses that seems to be working more and more late in the year. And, I just mentioned it. All those pocket passers bounced, and here we go, with the only guys left, most of them being dual threat. You got Jaden, you got Mahomes. Today you have Lamar and Josh Allen, and you have the last one left of pocket passers is freaking Matthew Stafford today versus the Birds.
I think they have better rosters.
I agree with that. I'm just talking about you know what I mean? Just in general.
Quarterback, in my opinion, it just shows you too. Once again, it's like I said, the quarterbacks in Philadelphia, maybe even San Francisco, and places like that, the quarterback doesn't have to play exceptional. He can play B+ or even C, and your guys are going to win a ball game. Your football team is not built around that quarterback. Those other teams are built around those arms, and if those arms fail, they go down. No question about it. They go down. So the question I always ask people is, would you rather have the roster or would you rather have the elite quarterback? Those quarterbacks that you all named have inferior rosters to the Eagles by far.
Well, the Detroit Lions?
The quarterback still threw 5 turnovers. You're not going to survive that. You had 4 turnovers by him, 5.
But that's my point. I mean, that's kind of my point.
But again, Jalen.
I'm not disagreeing with your roster take. The Eagles obviously have a great roster. I'm not taking away from that.
Yeah, but the quarterbacks don't. I mean, Lamar Jackson doesn't play well tonight. He loses. Okay, they lose. If Josh Allen doesn't play well tonight, they lose. If Jalen Hurts plays okay today, the Eagles win by 18. Because they have a formula. By the way, you shouldn't be fucking crying about it, not you. You shouldn't be crying about it. You've won 15 fucking ball games.
Yeah, no.
Why
are you classifying last night?
Why do people get upset when I say that your quarterback and your team has more room for error than these other teams? To me, that's a merit badge.
I'm not trying to make you admit. I'm not trying to make you feel like you're wrong on anything. I was just asking 100% genuinely for your objective analysis of the teams that have been bounced. I mean, it's pretty incredible to watch. I mean, you watch the rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, knock off a historic offense last night. 45 he hung, 31 first quarter points. I'm watching that game in my studio. I'm like, holy shit, what? This game is wild, man. And I thought it was a crazy
He had 300 yards passing last night. He was 22 of 31 last night with 2 TDs, and he ran the ball for 50 yards. This guy last night had 350 yards in total offense last night. He was an absolute sensational star last night. I can't believe. Now, again, I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that he's coming out of college being a 5-year kid, having played some time at Arizona State and went to LSU. And I think that's helped him.
Whatever it is, it worked.
When you see him play on the field, his maturity. And by the way, man, kudos to Brian Johnson and Cliff Kingsbury and the job that they have done with him. Who would have thought last year's offensive coordinator is the passing coordinator for the Commanders, and he's in the NFC Championship game.
Man, the storylines that are presenting itself, the storylines that are unfolding right before our very eyes are freaking perfect. If we could host Jalen Hurts versus Jaden Daniels in Philly for the NFC title game, holy shit, that would be
amazing.
Unbelievable. So good stuff. Let's read a couple super chats, and then we'll get John McMullen coming up here in a little bit. Eric Lucetta checks in on the game last night. Goff lost that game for the Lions. Too many turnovers. Daniels had himself a game too. Yeah, no doubt. That Lions defense also fell apart. Finally, the injuries came back to bite.
One of the things we were thinking about is if it was going to be leaky or not. And there it was last night on display. It was very leaky last night, and that Lions defense gave it up.
Yeah, no, they did. I mean, I think both kind of gave it up. You can't have 5 turnovers in a game, but the defense couldn't get off the field, man.
But Xander, listen to this number here. That's still, man, it kind of blows your mind. I mean, they had 200 yards rushing, did the Lions. The 5 turnovers obviously did them in, and the 4 interceptions, they did them in. But, man, they had 200 yards in rushing. They had 8 yards a carry in that game against Washington. And the 2 things that cost them, they were 3 and 9 on third down, and the 5 turnovers in the ball game. I mean, Washington did a great job in those long drives.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Crazy game last night, and I will tip the cap. I know we're Eagles fans, and you don't like to, but you got to tip the cap to Jaden Daniels, man. Impressive player and impressive performance. Sills, you're a better NFL historian than I am. Where does this rank on rookie seasons? One of the best of all time?
Man,
I mean, he's going to be in the NFC title game, man. And he knocked off a historic – it's not like he had, the Giants or some shitty team. I mean, he knocked off I thought he had a good game against Tampa, and then he knocks off the best team in football, arguably, in the Detroit Lions.
Second game in a row, and it's the first time in NFL history that a rookie goes over 300 total yards in his first 2 starts in the postseason. And he's one of the very few to win 2 in a row in his very first season. He's won, and again, like you said, he beat Todd Bowles, who the Eagles have struggled against the last 3 games, and he's turned around and went on the road, and he beat and took out Detroit on the road, a 9-point dog or a 6.5-point dog, whatever it was, in that game. And those guys, dude, they played with a lot of heart, and they were well coached in that football game. That kid was so good. You are going to see that kid get better and better and better with the more talent. Remember something, too. They've got nearly $90 million in cap space. So they're going to be able to go out and tool that defense on that side of the ball and potentially get more offensive linemen. Don't be shocked if Micaiah Becton lands there in Washington in the offseason. That'd be somebody to put in that building and put him in that offensive line. I mean, Becton's going to be a key on what the Eagles do in the offseason, but Washington, you could see him there with a $15, $18 million deal. They're going to be good for a long time. And that's another good one. Tyreek Hill wants out of Miami. Could they make a trade and go and get Tyreek Hill?
Yeah,
I mean, quite a way to improve that team in the offseason.
Got to tip your cap also to Scary Terry, who showed up. And how about Zach Ertz? Guy just keeps making plays, man.
He was great looking last night.
Again, man. Dober's Army checks in. What's up, brother? Appreciate everybody for being here today. Hit that like button. We got the divisional round coming up, everybody. Just over an hour away. Dober's Army checks in. You know I'm not a Jalenite, but I have a feeling he's going off today. 4 touchdowns overall. Go Birds. Dobers, I'm getting that feeling too.
How about
Jalen Hurts game.
Why would you want him to do anything different than what you're doing when you've dominated teams and beat teams by 18 points? I mean, look, if you're saying 4 touchdowns, 2 maybe on the ground with 165 yards passing, and then another 2 rushing and 50 yards somewhere in there because they got down to the goal line, that's where we're talking about here. I do not want – if that quarterback goes over 38 attempts, they lose.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they will. I think they'll stay, especially with the weather stills. I mean, that favors both teams that want to run the ball more. So that's a big advantage for the Birds. But listen, you know the one thing I don't like about the snow today. All right, just to play the other side a little bit when you think about the snow game. All right, the Eagles are such a better team in the trenches in this game. They're the team that doesn't need any other factor to help them. Right? If you're the Rams, you need the unordinary to happen today. You need the Eagles defense to not be as good. You need to create turnovers. You need some crazy splash playoff football plays to help you win a game. And the snow kind of brings that element versus the Eagles we're a better team. We're going to play a better brand of football. We can win. So I think the snow, in a way, there's a way to view it that it could favor the Rams.
Where do you think that favors, and who do you think that favors if it is a snow game? You know where that favors? It favors the wide receivers because of the backpedaling and the cuts. If it's wet out or it's snowy out, remember, you're running backwards. It favors the wide receiver if it becomes a weather game, Zander. Okay? Right. And remember something in special teams. What's the temperature supposed to be? Is it supposed to be in the 30s?
It's supposed to be in the 30s, but it's going to be windy. And once the sun, remember, the game starts at 3, so that sun's going to be going down. That second half is probably going to be pretty cold, probably in the 20s. With the wind chill, it might be even a little lower.
Be an issue then. Field goal kicking maybe from the 50 end.
Yeah, you saw what it looked like in that Chiefs game yesterday. Yeah, the kicking in the Chiefs game was atrocious. Fairbairn couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in that game. So there's no doubt that will be a factor. James Jones, our resident Commander fan, who's really an Eagle fan because he's here every day, but he's not yet ready to admit that. Welcome to the club, James Jones. Big Sills. We did it, dude. NFC Championship.
Kudos.
They're laughing at us, I think he said. I'm not sure what he's saying at the end.
Hey, James, kudos, man. You know, you and I were one of the very few people that said that this football team was going to have a great season. And sure enough, there they are right now. You know what, James Jones? You want to hear something crazy? Big Sills may be wrong on them winning the NFC East, but they may win the NFC. How you doing? I got half of it right.
Nah. Maybe.
Nah. All right.
Eagles are
James. 1-1. He is 1-1.
You had the little cat. You had the little lions in your way.
Hey, he is 1-1.
You had the scary box. You haven't had to play the Birds yet, brother. You haven't had to play the Birds.
Eagles are 1-1 versus Jaden Daniels. How you doing?
Jalen Hurts missed 3.5 quarters, but yeah, let's leave that out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hey, don't worry about it. That's a commander issue. It's not a
Jason E. Gates checks in. What's up, Jason? How far is Barkley from rushing record, including playoffs? I think he's a couple hundred yards. He could pass. I think he could get in the 3rd place today, passing Dickerson. I saw Dave Zangaro put it out. I don't know exactly what it is, brother, but I appreciate your super chat.
Well, shit, what are you talking about? Henry's already got 21-23.
Yeah, well, Saquon does too. He had 160 in the first playoff game?
I know that Barkley.
No, he had less than that.
Aren't they both over it?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look. This is a good comment. Abe checks in. He says it shows the NFC North ain't the toughest division. Not one playoff win. All that talk, and I'm guilty of it too. All that talk about the NFC. They didn't win one playoff game. They didn't win one. The Packers got eliminated in the wild card. The Vikings got eliminated in the wild card, and the Lions off a bye week got eliminated by the 6th seed Commanders. Not one playoff win for that division. What a letdown for the whole North. Dan, hi Stan. What's up, Dan? Thank you, bro. I always find ways to worry about games like this, and I respect McVay and Stafford, but by any metric, it favors the Birds today. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more, Dan. I'm with you, man. I do not see it for this Rams team. That's why I threw in that element with the snow. The Rams need something to change this game. The Rams need something to flip the ball. The Rams need a bounce to go their way. In a way, the snow adds a different element. So we'll see what that has to do with the game today. Dan, thank you, brother. Ramir checks in. Dan, take on the Deadskins was spot on, and they didn't win the division, but they might be a problem. The Cowboys are way behind. Oh, they're going to be a problem. We're going to be drafting to stop Jaden Daniels for the next decade. That guy is a freaking beast, man. There's no doubt.
They're doing good things in the front office too, man. They're signing the right guys. They're bringing in the right people. I like that GM Adams. I mean, dude, they're aiming in the right direction. But you know what you got to do? What the Eagles do? You have to maintain consistency. You can't have these swings and these pitches like you see a lot of organizations have. Let's see what happens here over the next couple of years with them and if they're able to continue to grow.
Yep, no doubt. Joey D becomes a member. Joey D, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Dor Gunner, my QB in DC, proving why he's best in the NFC. Good game last night, Dor. And Jason A-Team says, elite. Come on. We need an elite performance today from Jalen Hurts.
He is elite. Oh, Jalen. No. I'm talking about the guy in D.C. That's for sure.
I'm going to make a proclamation early, and I don't want to hear from anybody. You're overlooking the Rams. No, I'm not. All right. That's not my freaking job is to overlook the Rams. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Super Bowl, Big Sills. I'm saying that on the pregame show of the Eagles-Rams show. They're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to knock the Rams off at home. We have the Commanders next week in Philly. I'm not overlooking the Rams or anybody. No, I'm confident that this team is built for the Super Bowl, and they're going to go and they're going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl this year.
Hey, boy, you're on a limb. I mean, hey, I'm
not on a limb. There's what? 3 teams left.
I know you're not on a limb. I don't fucking believe they're not going either. I mean, no, I don't believe they're not going to be in New Orleans. I tweeted that out.
In a fucking bowl,
Sills. I tweeted that out last night that I said that they're not going to not be in New Orleans.
Going to be a crazy finish. We're going to get John McMullen up here in a couple minutes. So looking forward to talking to John, seeing what's going on at that stadium. Is the snow sticking? What's going on down there? Let's see what Johnny Mack says. Eric Lucetta checks in. Not scared of Washington's defense. The Lions put up over 500 yards of offense, and we scored 30+ on them twice. You know, you're right, Eric. That defense is not that great.
Yeah,
I'm not afraid of them.
Dan Quinn does is
they got an equalizer, man, at quarterback, though.
But what Dan Quinn does do is he puts his guys in position of potential turnovers because of the coordinator that he is. Let's not forget something. This guy's got a Super Bowl ring as a defensive coordinator when he was in Seattle, and he was up there working with Gus Bradley in the Legion of Boom. That guy knows how to win ball games defensively. He's one of the better defensive-minded guys. Helped the football team in Atlanta, obviously, and he helped the team up in Seattle win. Let's not forget something here, man. This guy's got a lot of pedigree of the Super Bowl and being in postseason, Zander. Dan Quinn's a heck of a coach.
No, he is.
Okay?
He is.
He's a heck of a coach, man. And Dallas, you don't think Dallas missed him this year on defense?
Dude, how about, Dallas let both coaches go out the door to keep Mike McCarthy around and Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore. And now they're trying to bring back Kellen, I think, to save face.
Hey, by the way, that just so everyone knows, the leading candidate to become the next head football coach of the Dallas Cowboys is Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I would see that.
Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. He reminds me, like he just looks like he'd be a Cowboys.
You know who told me that last night? Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he believes somebody that's got to be able to work with Dak and hiring a guy with Dak, who Dak likes. His number one job has to be to improve Dak and help Dak and have the relationship. That's why Kellen is going to be the top candidate there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. I can see John McMullen checking in now, Big Sills, from Lincoln Financial Field. Let's go to Johnny Mack now, joining us from the stadium. Johnny Mack, welcome to the pregame show, man. Great to have you on here. A big divisional round matchup, John. And the NFC officially goes through Philadelphia if they can handle business today. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this game day, brother?
Yeah, doing well. Yeah, that was obviously a big development. Certainly, the NFC Championship game, if you go back to 2018 again in 2023, this could be the third time in 8-9 years where the NFC goes through Philadelphia. It does right now. So the Eagles are able to win this game, but the Rams are probably looking at it the same way because if they're able to pull off the upset today, they're going to host the NFC Championship game.
John, when you look at the Eagles going in to the game, you have any indication on how they're going to handle the loss of Nakobe Dean? I mean, do you think they're just going to straight up put guys out there like Oren Burks and play in the same scheme, play the same system, next guy up mentality? Or do you think we'll see differences like maybe run into a 43 or a 5 front a little bit or dropping down to safety? Do you think they'll do anything different, or do you think it's just next man up?
No, I think it's next man up, but I do think you'll see a little bit of Jeremiah Trotter mixed in, and then Vic will kind of figure out who's got the hot hands between those two players, Oren Burks and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. But they've already been there. Week 17 against Dallas, Nakobe was out with an abdomen injury. And then, of course, last week he had to exit in the second quarter. So Oren's already played a decent amount of football as a backup linebacker. I think they like the upside of Jeremiah Trotter Jr. a little bit more, but you kind of weigh of if you really want to do it in the divisional round of the playoffs, just throw them in the deep end of the pool. That might be a little bit too much. So I think they'll err on the side of caution with Oren Burks, but mix Jeremiah Trotter Jr. in. But no, they're not going to make any huge changes on their defensive scheme. It's been so successful. They will miss Nakobe Dean, though. Anytime you lose a player like that, I think, if anything, he's been a little bit underrated because of the year Zach Bond has had. And because Zach has been so good, people haven't really noticed how good Nakobe Dean's been. So it's definitely a loss, but as you've seen across the NFL, most teams have far more attrition than the Eagles do. So you can't really use that as an excuse.
Johnny Mac, put on your weatherman hat for me, brother. What's it like down at the link right now? A lot of people calling for a snow game. What's it look like in the stadium right now? We're about an hour away from kickoff.
Yeah, it's been hit and miss. Just some decent flurries. Right now, not much going on. A little bit of light snow, but certainly nothing accumulating at this point. Depending on who you listen to, 2 to 4 inches. Some people say 4 to 6 on the high end. It's going to snow during the game. Probably 4 o'clock is when the heaviest snow is going to arrive. It's not going to be a blizzard, I don't think, but it's going to be fun for people to watch. There's going to be some snow on the ground, and we'll see how the teams handle it. Just the thought process. I mean, the LA Rams come from where they come from. So, bad weather, any inclement weather, forget about the snow, just talk about the cold in general. Not much wind either yet. It's going to get windier in Philadelphia.
We lose Johnny Mac?
I think so.
So I don't talk to quarterbacks in this league. The worst part for them is wind, and I don't think the wind is going to be much of a problem.
Hey, John, when you look at McVay in this game, because like you said, you're not expecting wind, do you think, again, when you're looking at Stafford, the key to him is they've got to get a run game going with Williams. If they can't get play action going, to me, I think the thing to circle, John, is to keep an eye on the middle of that zone there because Williams has got 37 catches. They do throw the ball to him. I don't know the status of Higbee. I don't see him on the IR, so I'm assuming that he's going to be playing in the game today. Do you think that's where they attack instead of hitting the numbers in the middle of the field because Dean not being out there? Because remember last game in Week 12, as soon as Slay went down, they went right after Isaiah Rodgers. Is that something you think McVay attacks is the middle of that zone?
Yeah, well, Kyron Williams is a big part of what they do, and he's a very good running back. He's had a very good season. If you go back to the Week 12 game, you think about that opening drive, the Rams were really moving the football well. and then Kyron kind of coughed it up. That's the one problem with Kyron Williams. I think he's had 6 fumbles this year, so maybe keep an eye on Zach Bond, who's had a knack for forcing fumbles. The Eagles are certainly going to try to rip at that football, but yeah, they're a much more effective team when they have the running game going. Kyron Williams is capable of running the football very, very well. As far as the passing game, Sean McVay is going to do what he does. He's going to use a lot of motion. He's going to try to test the discipline. Vic Fangio's defense has been very good. Very solid. Terrion Arnold, if you want to make that comparison with Quinyon Mitchell, there was a big play in last night's game where he just completely loses contain because his eyes are in the wrong spot. Vic has taught those young defensive backs well. I don't think they're going to have much of a problem with all the motion, the eye candy that Sean McVay uses, but it's easier said than done. He's going to test you, and you can talk about it, say you're not going to do it, but when Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are out there, you might bite. And Tyler Higbee is going to play. He got banged up. A little bit of a scary situation in the wild card win. Was coughing up blood, but evidently he's fine. So he's going to play.
Losing John here for a second. Let me see if I can get John back up on the show for a second. Checking in and out. It sounds like they got a lot of stuff going on in the press box up there. Let me see if I can get reconnected with John, and we'll get him back on. I just want to get his keys to the game and his thought on what happened last night, obviously, because now it's coming through Philly, which changes a lot. So work with us, everybody. It's tough to get a good connection from the press box when you're down there. Sorry about that. And we'll see if we can reconnect with John in just a second. So I thought he said some interesting stuff there. This weather, maybe it's not as big of a factor as we're assuming in this game. Doesn't seem like it's not real cold where I am. I'm about 35 minutes from the stadium. It's not too cold where I am, and it's more of a slushy, rainy type of weather. So we'll see what kind of impact it has on the game today. But do you feel like that favors the Eagles overall?
Because of their run attack. I mean, they're built, right. Like Mark Trestman said this week, Zander, they're built for the winter and they're built for the weather. And at any time that you got an opportunity where you can run the football right. the way that they run, no matter what it is, you're going to move the chains, especially in bad weather here. All the teams that used to go up to New England and have success, you know why Peyton Manning struggled when he had to go to Gillette? Because of the wind, because right. of the rain. But anytime Baltimore went up there and they had a good football team, what did they do? They ran the ball, played great defense, and they would come out of New England with victories. Like Trestman said, man, this football team today, with the weather being the way it is, they are built right now to run the football. Stay in your identity. There's no reason to come out of your identity, man. Go do what you have done for right. 19 weeks.
No doubt about it. Let's get back to John and see if we can get a better connection. I do want to get his keys to the game. So John McMullen joining us now again from Lincoln Financial Field. John, connection's a little spotty, so we'll keep it brief today. But John, I do want to ask you your keys to this game because we watched the wild one last night, John, in the NFC with the top NFC team being bounced from the playoffs. Anything can happen in January in the postseason. What do you think the keys are to victory to this game for the Eagles? Or if you want to go vice versa, if you're the Rams, what are the keys to how do you beat the Eagles in this game? Give me the keys to victory for each of these teams on if they want to win this game.
Yeah, not divisional round quality internet. So come on, Eagles, fix this stuff. But fix one. Yeah, I mean the Rams. First of all, look, it is what it is. It's a California team coming to the Northeast in January. That generally doesn't tend to work out well. So number one is see how the Rams sort of react to the elements. Forget about the snow. Like I said, the cold, just how they're going to be affected by that. We'll see that, number one. Rams have to play a very clean game. If you saw, generally when you go on the road, you probably have to win the turnover battle if you're going to steal a game. So I think, I mentioned that Week 12 game, Kyron Williams fumbling early. They can't have that. They can't turn the football over. They got to play from the lead. If they win the toss, I would advocate the Rams take the football. They probably won't, but that's what I would advocate. Try to shorten the game. Try to get to the fourth quarter with an opportunity to steal it. And then you say anything can happen. Bounce of the football going the wrong way. For the Eagles, look, if they bring their A game, they're going to win this football game. Bottom line, more talented, better team, better players, pretty significantly from a talent standpoint. Again, a little bit worried early in the game with the scripted Rams stuff on offense, which they're very good at, but it tends to get very repetitive. I don't know if you guys caught me when I said that, but that's been Vic's history with Sean McVay. He's had a lot of success, and he generally tends to figure out what they do early in the game, and then he's prepared for it late in the game. Rams got to get, as I said, to the fourth quarter and with a one-score game with a chance to steal it. I think that's the goal for Sean McVay and the Rams.
How about this, John? Anything to that stuff by Jared Verse? Do you buy into any of that with billboard stuff when he's barking? I know the fans are going to buy into it, but do you think the players are buying into it?
No. In fact, I give Darius Slay a lot of credit. Slay was my buddy Ed Kratz was the one who asked him the question. It's like, and Slay said, there's a lot of people that don't like Eagles fans. There's a lot of Eagles that don't like Eagles fans. That's just part of it. Jared Verse said what he said. Yeah, that's more for the fans than the players.
No doubt about it, Johnny Mac. Good stuff there, brother. I think it should be a good game today. John, if it goes anything like last night's game did, man, we could be in for some fireworks. So real quick, John, before you go, just your thoughts on that game, man. I know this now the Eagles kind of I don't want to say control their own destiny entirely, but they do control it with it coming through Philly. If you handle today, what'd you make of that game last night, man? The rookie-led Commanders knock off one of the greatest offenses of all times. Your takeaways from that, John?
Tremendously impressed by Jaden Daniels. Zander, a couple weeks ago, I got criticized pretty harshly when I said Jaden Daniels has had a better season than Jalen Hurts. I think that one's pretty obvious at this point. But yeah, tremendous game by Washington. And it's so calm. So rare when you see a rookie quarterback be that calm and collected at all times. But also from Dan Quinn's standpoint, I've been saying it all year as well. To beat Detroit, you're going to have to be as aggressive as they are on fourth down. And you saw what Washington did on fourth downs. They didn't hesitate. They went every time. They only missed once. And they've been doing that the entire playoffs. Great story. I don't know how great it is for Eagles, Philadelphia fans with Josh Harris, but, Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, Jaden Daniels, and again, proving you can turn things around quickly in the NFL.
Brian Johnson, don't forget Brian Johnson, too, the passing coordinator in Washington. Don't forget Brian Johnson, John.
Did we lose John right when he was going to respond to the Brian Johnson talk?
Brian Johnson.
Come on, Eagles. The Wi-Fi down at the press box is dropping out on us over and over again here. But good takeaway from John on the game last night. If we get him back, I'll bring him in one more time. Just give us a final prediction and thoughts on the game. So we got a bunch of super chats to hit. Appreciate everybody for being here in the chat today. Good stuff, man. Hit that like button for us. Sills, you're not flipping your score prediction on this game, are you?
No.
All right. I just didn't know. You went 0-2 for yesterday, so I was thinking maybe Sills wanted to make a switch.
Yeah. I mean, hey, by the way, sorry, but that young, talented Texans team, I thought that thing was absolutely atrociously officiated, and I'm not a guy to do any of that bullshit. But everybody that's always in here saying it's Mahomes and the officials and getting the benefit, if you went on social media, you were basically watching shit go on right in front of your eyes that wasn't on the field. I can't believe some of those calls that got overturned and helped the Kansas City Chiefs score. I felt when I watched that first half of that game, the Texans were dominating them. They were completely dominating. They had like 100 yards at the end of the first half in total offense.
Dude, but isn't that the most Kansas City Chiefs thing in the world?
Absolutely.
To get dominated in every metric except
the
scoreboard. And by the way, look, all right, the officiating wasn't great. I get it. But I still think people are remiss to not tip their cap to some of the stuff that Mahomes does, dude. I mean, the guy's falling down and makes a touchdown throw. I mean, you don't see many players doing that.
You can't give that guy second opportunities. He's going to burn your ass.
They're not going to beat themselves. They're not going to beat themselves.
Kelsey showed up. He was really good. I thought
if it's a big game, whatever you want to say about Travis Kelce, whether you like him, you don't like him, whatever, the guy shows up in big games, man. He really does.
Troy Aikman even went after Mahomes by saying that he should have been penalized. There should be a penalty for flopping and how he got hit because he ended up getting a 15-yard penalty. I'm just saying, look, man, I like that young Texans team. I didn't realize I hadn't watched them that much, that defense. I'm going to make a proclamation to you, and I'm 304 if you're in here. That kid in Houston, in 3 years from now, Will Anderson Jr., is going to be better than Micah Parsons.
Yeah, he's a special player, Will Anderson. He was everywhere yesterday.
He was all over the field, dude.
Dude, you know who else was all over that field yesterday for the Chiefs?
Those two wait a minute. Those two Texan corners are spectacular.
Yeah, Stingley and what's the other guy's name?
I can't remember the other kids.
Yeah, Stingley's a beast. You know who was everywhere in that game though, in my opinion? Well, I don't even know if it's an opinion at this point. He was everywhere. Karlaftis. Holy shit, what a player, man. The Chiefs have really been drafting well.
And McDuffie. Those
the
two
Chiefs win yesterday and the Commanders win yesterday. Now you got the Eagles versus Rams now at the 3:00 window.
That's right.
And then tonight you'll have the Ravens and the Bills. So two
Kamari
great
Lassiter.
That's it. Thank you, Greg. Kamari Lassiter, great player. So from Georgia, University of Georgia player. So another good Georgia Bulldog in the league. So good stuff there. Big Sills, let's dive back into this game, brother. Sills, talk to me. Someone's going to stick out. Somebody's going to make a big play today. Something is going to happen in this game that's not just hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley and let him run it home. Something is going to happen in this game to make it a classic. What do you got? Who to watch out for? Who do you like in this game, Big Sills? What player do you like to make a play, whether it's on either team?
I like Goddard. I like him in this ball game because I'm not sold the Rams middle zone is that great. I think you can beat them with an intermediate pass. And the one thing that you like when a healthy Goddard is out there on the field, that guy has a nose for the end zone. And are you going to be able to get him on the ground? That's my key for him. And for Jalen, dude, can you imagine if the Eagles just get 21 passes? But yet in that process, those 21 passes, Hurts is 21 of 14 for 165 yards. You get another 145 yards rushing. You're talking 300 in total offense just there between Hurts and between Barkley. Then you're getting that run game going. You stop that other side of the football with your defensive tackles, and you make those guys have to throw the ball 50 times. If Matthew Stafford throws the ball 50 times, this is a blowout. If he's 19 of 28, somewhere in there, it's a fourth quarter football game because the Rams were able to get the ball going on the ground game. They've got it, Zander. This is their offense. It is run to throw. That's what the Rams do. They want to spread you out. They want to play in space, and they're going to do everything they can. And here's the difference that the Eagles don't have compared to the Rams. Rams have big play capabilities down the field. The Eagles haven't been throwing a ball over the top. They haven't stretched out defenses.
You're right.
I
think they have the capability, but you're right that they have not done it at the same rate recently.
They just haven't done it.
Because they have not been and they tried the one big shot last week in the playoffs.
But that's a high turnover play for them. They're not looking to make that team right now does not have to do anything out of the unordinary. The Rams have to do the unordinary today for them to win this ball game. Look, if I were a Ram player going into this game and I saw what happened with Washington and Detroit last night, I'm going to make the comment that's going to motivate me and go like this. Hey, man, What if it's them? Why not us?
Exactly. It's playoff
Why
football.
not us?
Anybody can win in playoff football. I mean, you watch the Commanders going as a 6 seed to vaunted Detroit, Motor City, turned into Chocolate City or whatever you want to call it there. Let's go to a couple super chats here, Sills, and then we'll get out of here. By the way, John McMullen did text me, all right? And this is the official final score prediction from John McMullen today, and we apologize for the internet dropping out. 27-16 Eagles, and he has Jalen Carter as the guy who will make the difference for the Birds today in this game with interior pressure on Stafford.
That's almost around my number where I'm at. I mean,
Okay.
Again, Xander, big dudes beat little dudes up.
Yeah.
And until that D line in front can show me that the Rams are going to do something different, I mean, how do you do anything different when they ran for 317 yards on you, 307, whatever it was, and they put up 37 points on you? You're going to have to show me that you've done something different to stop the run, because this is a fist fight here. Look, they have the coach, they have the quarterback. What are the two most essential things? And you know what, quite frankly, they also do have they have a pass rush. Okay?
They have a great pass rush.
They have a pass rush. Yeah. But what's that mean? You can't lose first and second down if you're the Rams. You have to keep them in third and long for you to win this game.
And if you don't, it's going to be a long game for the Rams.
All day, right.
Then the Eagles are going to play exactly how they want. Let's get to a couple super chats here. James Jones, here we go. Let me read his. All right, I got you, James. You also said my son was going to lose to Detroit too. James, we're at a point now where we're just tipping your cap, man. I can't dispute you anymore. What do you want me to say? That Jaden Daniels isn't so good? I mean, the kid's a fucking stud. You want me to admit it? I'll admit it. All right, we got to deal with this guy for the next decade. It's a nightmare for Philadelphia Eagles fans. You want me to call a spade a spade? I'll call the spade.
Hey,
all right?
He's. I'll tell you this. Yeah, he looks better than RG3 did in his rookie year, and I think he looks better than what CJ Stroud did last year.
Yeah, I think he's getting better every game.
He is.
Every game. Like, you're seeing him develop every game. It's incredible. James Carver, what's up, James? Good to see you, my man. But Sills, people overlook that the Rams are actually a run to set up the pass team. My keys are Eagles playing more press or less than 3 or greater than 3 yards max, and Jake's leg
James,
with the win.
They play press 3% of the time this year. You want them to start doing something completely different on the number one pass defense? Why would you change that? Why wouldn't you? Hey, I'm going to make the Rams change. I'm not changing with what I'm doing. I'm the number one pass defense in the National Football League. You want me to look and do something completely different and play press? No way. No way. I might mix some in.
Right.
But I'm not going to, because of the loss of Dean, I might mix some other stuff in there, but no way, man. No way.
How does it feel that the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl?
Oh, look at this. He's jumping the boat. Hey, he's jumping. Look at him. He's already jumping over a team. All right.
Oh, my God, you're jumping. No, I'm not jumping over anybody because that's not my damn job. My job is to come here every day and make great content for the people of JAKIB Nation and for Eagles fans everywhere. We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. I'm feeling it. We're going to the Super Bowl, and Big Sills is going to be.
By the way, Angelo Cataldi's on Monday, too, just so you guys know.
Looking forward to hearing what he's got to say. Good stuff there. Brian Pumper checks in. We win this game if Jalen Hurts doesn't play like a complete a-hole. Pray to the gods he doesn't try to impersonate a real QB like Tanner. Not happening, Pump. You're watching these pocket passing quarterbacks drop like flies. They're dropped for another. How many turnovers for Goff last night? Darnold, see ya. Stafford's next. You know what? Stafford might have another 3 picks in this game just to continue the trend of what all the other pocket passers are doing.
Pump, just remember something. They don't have to have their quarterback do anything to win. They're the only team left in the playoffs that don't have to. So it's almost impossible to beat the Eagles. Because you know why? The quarterback doesn't have to do shit.
Pump and Sills will continue to cry, and the Philadelphia Eagles will continue to win.
I picked you to win. How am I crying? I'm not. Your quarterback doesn't have to do.
Oh, I've never seen Sileo do that before. Make it so that either way he wins. Wow! The genius of Big Sills is here.
Quarterback doesn't have to do shit.
Jair Mayo, what's up, brother? Appreciate you being here. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I will work on it. If you tell me how to pronounce it, I'll try and fix it up for you. If Moore goes, who do we bring in to help with this passing game? I look at other offenses, and it's like we don't have creativity. Jair, don't fall for the hype, man. Don't fall. Who was the most creative offense in the NFL? Huh? Who was it, Jair? Who was the most creative offense in the NFL this year? Sills, I'll ask you.
Oh, it was the Lions. And what is the most expensive offense? The Eagles. Too bad they don't use their guys, though.
Sills will always come up with something to push back.
Well, it is the most expensive offense. You think you're Ohio State, the NFL.
15-3. Looks like it's working out pretty good.
That's right. Get those $35 million wideouts blocking. Go get them, bitch.
Jair again. Belt to ass for the Rams. Commanders next. No doubt about it. Good stuff, brother. Dan becomes a member. Dan, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Niners all damn day. A member for 18 months. Look at that.
I love Niner all day, man.
Yeah, he's great. One of our resident Niners fans in the chat. 18-month member. Devin Shanahan checks in. Sills and Angelo, 5-7 win team. Now we go into an effing bowl. How you doing?
I also said that the Commanders would win the NFC East. They just might win the NFC.
Holy moly. Not if Philly can help it. Wishbone checks in. Jalen gets game ball. Sileo wears a Jalen jersey. Not happening.
No,
you're gonna have to do more than win the divisional round.
Going to be reserved if they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And Sileo didn't say 5-7. Come on. By the way, I think he said 9 wins. Yeah. Eric Lucetta, we got that one already, and then Jair again, belt to ass for the Rams. Thank you, brother. Dor Gunner said my Commanders have $100 million cap space too.
Wow. Imagine how we could do with that.
Here we go. Brian Pumper taking a shot at Big Z because I'm feeling a little confident, Pump. Eagles win the Super Bowl in the back of Jalen Hurts, a masterpiece of a performance. 300 yards, 4 tutties. Eagles 28-12. Then Zander
wakes up. How you doing?
All right, Pump. Listen, the pocket passers are dropping like flies right now. There's one left.
Passers. Hey, they don't want a pocket passer.
There's one left.
Hey, Pump, they don't want a pocket passer. You got it, man. You got a guy who's a mailman.
No. There's opinions and then there's objective truths in life and reality, okay?
Right.
Here's the quarterbacks who remain in the playoffs. Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts.
Hey, guys.
5
what guys in that names that he named don't have a top 5 passing attack? You know the number 1 passing attack was this year? It's in Baltimore.
Okay. Baltimore's about to get bounced tonight. You want me to worry about Baltimore?
Buffalo's a top 10. Okay? Every single team you mentioned except
there's one non-dual threat quarterback left, and all the other ones have gone out limping like a dog. And I'm predicting that Matthew Stafford
have top 10 passing games.
We might beat the shit out of Matthew Stafford so bad today he retires.
Every one of them have top 10 passing attacks except the Birds. You call them dual threat? At least they can throw.
15-3 and still standing.
Right.
Jair, what's up? Our O-line's going to bully the Rams D-line schoolyard. Super Bowl, baby. Just bought my ticket to New Orleans. Let's go.
Woo!
Let's go, baby.
28.
Let's go.
There you go, man.
Sig Lord checks in. Jair, good stuff, brother. Sig Lord, Commanders hype about the NFC Championship, just like the Vikings were after the miracle in Minnesota. And we all know how that ended. Correct, Sig Lord. I already said they blew their load last night. Not good for the Commanders.
Commanders won 4 ball games last year. 4. And now they've got 13 wins. And they got a coach who's been to a Super Bowl. They got a quarterback coach, Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator, that's done some. Dude, I'm telling you, they've gotten way better since you played them the last time. Even without Hurts, they've gotten way better. You know where they've gotten better, Zander? In the run game.
Yeah.
They're picking the run game up.
Peter checks in. Zander, Big Sills. What's up, brother? Appreciate you checking in. The real Zeal. What's up, Zeal? Good stuff, man. Thank you guys for the support today. Will people stop bitching about the Eagles resting people? Dan Campbell has the most physical training camp and players, starters, and played starters in meaningful games, left them with no defense in the end.
Man, I just think that was a poorly coached football game last night by his coaching staff. And I think that defensive side of the football gave it up last night. And, I mean, dude, the Lions had 500 yards in offense on them. They fucked up, but they created turnovers and they pressed it. And you don't want to hear something? I think the Lions played tight last night. Coming out of that bye, Zander, I thought they played tight last night. They looked
You're right. They didn't look loose at all.
No, they just looked tight last night.
And credit to the Commanders. They punched him in the mouth.
Yeah.
Chief Manifestations checks in. Regardless how the Eagles win, Sills will find a way to hate on Hurts. Yeah, you're right about that.
You're
right about that, Chief.
Bring it on. I don't hate anybody, man. I hate styles of play.
And if the style of play
Dude, I hate Nazis. I don't hate Jalen Hurts.
No, I know you don't. You know I'm just messing with you. But if they win the Super Bowl, you know I'm gonna be shitting on you for the entirety of the offseason.
Gonna be right or I'm gonna be wrong.
No doubt. Eagles Talk Baby checks in. Did you see Mark Holmes crying watching the Commanders winning? I did not see it, but I'm sure he was. It's got to hurt to be a Cowboy fan today, man.
I know, knowing that you're the third best team and you're battling it out for last place in the NFC East with the Giants.
With the New York Football Giants. Jeff Bone, the Bonehead. Did you see the picture, by the way, that Bone sent us of him wearing the Jerome Brown jersey?
I did. Yeah, I posted it. Really cool. Hey, Jeff, really awesome, man. Congratulations. It looks great on you.
I'm with Akbar, who says, we are winning the Super Bowl. I'm with you, Akbar. Verse chirping in our house. Hope we whoop them like a bass turd stepchild.
Oh.
Good stuff, Bonehead. I appreciate you, brother. All right, Sills, let's get your final prediction and keys to this game, brother. We'll let everybody go and gear up. The kickoff's coming up around 30 minutes from now, 3 o'clock Eastern. Here on Fox or no NBC, excuse me. It's on NBC today. So make sure you guys are all tuned in. I'm sure you will be. We'll be live on the halftime show and the post-game show right after the game. So looking forward to doing that and talking to everybody. Big Sills, brother, your final predictions, thoughts, and keys to the game here for Eagles versus Rams divisional round matchup.
Stay in your identity. Get the run game going. Win first and second down if you're Philly. Put the Rams on their heels early by attacking them. Long sustained drives will put them, and again, you know what it'll do too? If you get out there and start running the ball, you're telling them, I don't believe that you can stop us. And it's a mental screw in the ground when you know they're going to do the same thing they did to you in week 12. The Rams have to come up with a way to win first and second down in this ball game. Do I think they can? I want to see it. I do not believe they can. I just think that the Eagles have the roster. They're more physical. I think their defense is playing as good as it is each and every single week. I think the loss of Dean is going to be felt, and it could wobble in the first quarter. An adjustment, because you're going to have to adjust to a different style of play, and also the speed of the linebackers you're going to have to adjust to, and Vic's going to have to adjust to that. It's going to be interesting to see if the Rams attack that part of the zone right out of the gate, and I would imagine that Stafford will. At the end here, though, Zander, I look at this and I see 28-10. This is what I predicted all week. Actually, I think I said it on Wednesday or Tuesday, that I just don't think little dudes hang with big dudes, especially in a fist fight. And I just think that this game is set up for Philadelphia to move on and advance to the NFC Championship game next week. The Rams are going to have to overexcel, and the Eagles are going to have to underachieve for them not to move on.
Let's go. Love it. Big Sills. Good stuff there, brother. I want everybody in the chat, all right, who's in here. Leon, Flex, and JB, Mr. International, Crazy, Mark L. Look at Mark L. I love this comment. Mark L. Dog, we're going to win a Super Bowl, and I'm going to wear a Kango like that straight Pimp Zander. See you at the barbecue, my boy. Let's go, Mark. It's Kango season, baby, for the birds. All right, here we go. I want everybody to drop their score predictions in the chat right now, all right? Me and Sills, we'll bring some of them up, and we'll talk about them. So put your scores for the Eagles versus Rams divisional round game right now in the chat, all right? I'll give you my final prediction. I posted it up yesterday on my platforms. Make sure you guys follow me on X at Real Zander, and on Instagram at Zander Krause Show, and follow Big Sills at Dan Sileo Show, a great follow as well. Final prediction, 24-17. Birds win. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. Many people say, oh, the snow's coming. I think it helps the Eagles. I think the snow creates a variable that the Rams want, and that's the unknown, okay? And I think it could keep this game close. I'm feeling a classic playoff matchup. I don't feel a blowout. Hopefully I'm wrong on this. I don't feel a blowout today. I got 24-17 winning, and my MVP of the game will be Jalen Hurts for the Philadelphia Eagles. He will step up and make the plays today when they count the most, and the Birds will host the NFC title game versus the division rival Washington Commanders. Coming up next, Big Sills, on the movie that is the 2024-2025 Philadelphia Eagles.
Jalen Hurts, 135 passing, 2 touchdowns, 45 yards rushing with a touchdown. Barkley's going to have about 140 and a touchdown, and they're going to put the Rams asleep at the beginning of the third quarter.
What did you have for Jalen?
145 and 2. Well, that's what he does. 145 and 2 touchdowns. And I have another 45 rushing with a touchdown. So he has 3 TDs in the game.
All right. That's a good enough performance for me. Good stuff. Let me go through a couple score predictions in the chat. All right. Well, Fredo checks in 27-21. Eagles win. Good score, brother. Appreciate that. Joe Buckley. What's up, Joe? Birds 17-14. Wow, that's a low
I don't
score.
want any of these scores because that favors the Rams.
A guy who's just here says 24-10 Eagles. Jake makes a 50-yarder before halftime. Good stuff there. Love that. Abe checks in 31-14 Birds. I love it. Devin Shanahan, look at this. 31-10. Devin, are you at the tailgate for the night game? I know Devin is a guy, I think, who lives out toward the Buffalo area. And Devin said it earlier in the shows this week. He was heading to the night game. So, Devin, if you're there, let me know, brother. Mad Bird, look at this. Mad Bird, what world are we scoring 42 in the snow? 42-23. Mesmerized 30-17. All right, some good scores in here today. Big Sills. We got a lot of them. 28-17, 31-21. Here, look at this. So good stuff all around from everybody. 28-14. Izzy B's picking the Birds to win. Good stuff, man.
Yep, that's around right. I mean, again, I said 28-10. I want to see them move the ball, man. I don't believe that the Rams can win to stop the Eagles on first and second down. Because you watch, if Barkley, dude, if you look up in mid-game and it's getting close to halftime and Barkley's got 5'8" or 6 yards of carry, it's fucking over.
All right. No doubt about it. Good stuff, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here today. That's going to do it for the pregame show as we are now 20 or so minutes away from kickoff. I got the NBC on in the back in the studio. I'll be tuned in. We'll be live for the halftime show and the postgame show. Make sure everybody's tuned in, all right? Because win or lose, it will be an epic post-game show today, regardless of what unfolds on the football field. Looking forward to seeing everybody in there. Hit that like button on your way out. Big Sills, any final words for the people as they prep for the divisional round game?
If you're out there and you're watching this, give it to Verse Good.
Yeah. I agree.
Let him know what that meant to you sitting in the stands and what it's like to come and play in your building.
Yep.
That's
couple
what
super
I
chats.
would say.
Good stuff there, Sills. Last couple super chats, and then we'll close the door here on the show. Chief Manifestations. I spent another 5 just to say that Sills will find a way to criticize Hurts regardless.
Thank you, Chief.
Hate. He's on to something there, right? He's on to something.
Don't worry, Chief. I'm working the magic now.
Mad Bird checks in. Mad Bird, good to see you, brother. I'm pumped. Take care of business. Go Birds, baby. Go Birds, Mad Bird. Appreciate it, my man. Cheapskate Coins checks in. If Eagles win a Super Bowl, I want Sills in a Jalen jersey, eating a cheesesteak, proclaiming a dual threat can win it all.
You got a deal. You got a deal, cheesesteak.
The ultimate heel here. All right, one more. You guys are killing it today. Abe, there should be FU. There will be. Oh, Abe.
Oh, yes.
Abe, I don't know if you've ever been to a game at the link, brother, but there will be many of those.
Oh, yes.
Chants. And we will abide by Izzy's request here. So can we get one elite on the way out the door today?
This is what has to happen with your quarterback.
I love it. Great stuff, Big Sills.
Ooh, threat.
The little threat. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Tune in on the halftime show and the post-game show coming up after the game. Enjoy it. Big Sills, enjoy the game, brother. We'll talk to you in the post-game show.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an Audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES. Eagles.